Hi, my name's Danielle Doggett and I'm the CEO of Sailcargo Inc. I'm here in Harlingen, Netherlands with our new ship, Vega. As some of you may have heard, we recently discovered rot in the mizzen mast and bowsprit while we were preparing for our Atlantic crossing. About a month ago, we took everything down to assess the extent of damage and what needs to be done. As part of our initial plan, we will be transforming the ship back to her original cargo layout. This means moving the galley on deck and removing some of her cabins. This shouldn't affect our overall schedule of being able to sail cargo by the end of this year.
So we were lucky enough to be here in Harlingen, where there's a lumber mill like a 5-minute walking distance away, and where they have a lot of expertise and a lot of trees that were perfectly dimensioned and quality-wise were really good. So we found a larch for the bowsprit and a few Douglas firs for the masts. It was really interesting to kind of select, because we had the option. The owner kind of let us walk through and choose the trees that we wanted. So there was a lot of options, and just deciding what species and the quality and the length.
Okay, so first we started with a square log, and we came from the mill and we squared it up a little better. The 8-sided we cut with a chainsaw jig to have always perfect 45 degree. And after this we did a lot of layout, marked out all the sides.
Using a 45-degree jig with the chainsaw, we cut all the corners off and then planed to our lines, and that gives us 8 irregular sides. And then we plane on the original reference surfaces and bring it down to the correct taper at 8. And then from there on we use a spar gauge to mark out 16 sides, then plane down again. And from there on it's by eye to 32 and then round. The bottom of the mast isn't keel stepped. It kind of like sits on halfway through the deck in a metal collar. So a while ago I took measurements of the collar, and today I laid out and made a detailed drawing of all the angles basically and dimensions. And today, while we still have an octagon, so with regular faces, we're going to lay it out and cut the shoulders, because once it's round it's going to be much harder.
Too much on Instagram again. Okay.
Yep. Meanwhile, Julian cut out the tenon. So the mast is kind of stepped through the deck, or halfway through, and it sits in a steel sleeve and tenon running fore and aft.
Yeah, basically what I'm doing is a spar gauge to mark out our piece, which is now 8-sided, and I'm gonna make a spar gauge so we don't need any measuring or math to mark out the 16 sides. There's several ways to do it, and I decided to draw it out. My 8-sided here, and I had my circle in my circle goes here, and then perpendicular to this line I can find my point there, which will represent the corners of my 16-sided timber. And then I'm gonna take it, put it across my piece of wood and scribe it. And now we do a dot every 3 meters, and in between those 3 meters. And then we're gonna snap lines from dot to dot, and then we get a line. And we're gonna follow this line. Well, it takes a lot of patience, because yeah, you don't want to take off too much in one pass, and then you gotta be careful and kind of work yourself to the 32 sides, because you want to do it equal. So you do like one pass each, and then you do another pass, and then you can eyeball kind of the amount of wood you need to take off, or you did take off, and then we shape it again. It's getting more edges.
Next, we're going to work on the cross-tree assembly, and for that we've kind of redesigned it. In the old mast there was kind of like some space around the mast where water could get trapped, and there was no drainage. So this time we're making it so the cross-tree assembly is tight against the mast, and we're making drainage so that we're trying to make it so no water can come in, but if it does, that it can just go out. So the cheeks are the 2 pieces of wood on either side of the mast, which support the cross-tree structure, which itself supports the top mast. So it just distributes the weight and the compression of the top mast through the cross-trees, and then into the cheeks, and then into the mast. And then we're going to cut the flat surface where the cheeks sit, that's inset slightly into the mast. So we want to make that cut now, and we're going to do it with the Alaskan mill. The old cheeks from the original masts are still intact and have a really nice grain structure because they're made out of the crotch retreat. So the grain structure is ideal for this purpose, and we want to use them.
Okay, so this is the bowsprit. It's about 13 meter long. Took us about 1.5 to 2 weeks to get it to this kind of state where it's nice and round with all little steps, so they have a shoulder to rest on. And it's a beautiful piece of larch, so we are very happy with this piece of wood. Yeah. So after the sanding, basically we try to put as much turpentine and linseed oil on it, and it's a mix with just 5 to 10% of linseed oil, and the rest is turpentine to penetrate the wood, and we brush it on 2 times a day if we can. Yeah.
We also just started working on the rigging, and soon we'll start on the ship itself.
As soon as the work here is done, we will sail Vega across the Atlantic Ocean to start her new life as a sailing cargo vessel.